Mary Mac Bakehouse has two great events coming up for the end of October. Saturday, October 23rd, is the Fall Festival in Wampum, Pennsylvania from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And Saturday, October 30th, will be at Steel City Craft Emporium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. There will be lots of other vendors, and you can even wear a Halloween costume if you like.
Hello and welcome to In the Kitchen with Mary Mac. Today we're going to make some more soup. This is unstuffed pepper soup, a recipe made famous by my mother-in-law, Zella McAnellen. She made this pretty often when she had peppers from the garden, and my kids loved it. Everybody loved it. And we also just loved that she called it unstuffed pepper soup when it is in fact stuffed pepper soup. So
I still say it's more accurate of a name because the stuffing doesn't stay in the peppers in the soup.
well, you could call it deconstructed stuffed peppers or
Unstuffed sounds more fun.
exploded stuffed peppers or something like that. But unstuffed pepper soup it is. This is a pretty simple recipe. It's easily doubled. You can adjust it as you like. If you like more meat, you can put more meat in it. If you like no meat, you can use a meat substitute like vegan ground beef. What is that called? I can't think of what it's called. Impossible burger, loose Impossible burger would work in this. You can do that. You could leave the meat out if you want to and just have it be the rice and peppers and whatever. But anyway, unstuffed pepper soup. So you'll need 1 pound of ground beef, pretty lean. You can use 1.5 pounds if you like more in it. Her original recipe called for 1.5 pounds ground beef, but I typically use 1 pound for this recipe. So if you like more meat, use more. If you don't, use the 1 pound. 1 pound of lean ground beef. 2 cans of tomato soup, 10.5 ounce cans. 1 can of crushed tomatoes, 28 to 32 ounce can. And you use juice and all, don't drain it. 2 cans of beef broth, 14.5 ounce cans, or you can use beef bouillon in its place, an equivalent amount, which would be about 3.5 cups of beef broth made with beef bouillon. So you'd use like 3 bouillon cubes to the amount of water. 1 large onion, 2 to 3 cups of chopped bell pepper, which is like 3 to 4 large peppers, or you can use more if you like. I use if I'm doing this and I have peppers from the garden or something, I'll just use a ton of peppers in it. So probably about 3 cups, which would be like 3 to 4 large peppers, cleaned and diced. A half teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and then 2 cups of cooked rice go into this. Now, in Zella's original recipe, she only used 1/2 cup of cooked rice, but stuffed peppers should have a lot of rice in them. So unstuffed pepper soup should have a lot of rice in it. So I actually just made this 2 days ago, and I used 2 cups of cooked rice, and it actually was perfect in this. It made you still had some broth, but it was nice and thick with ingredients and stuff. So here we go. You're going to brown your ground beef in a large Dutch oven and break it up into smaller pieces, but not too small. As it's browning, chop your onion up, put that in, and your bell peppers, and put that in to cook along with your ground beef. And just cook and keep turning and stirring. You don't want your peppers and onions to brown up. You want them to cook, like sweat them, so they start to get soft, but they're not completely mushy. This will probably take 15 to 20 minutes to cook the ground beef, and just keep turning and cooking and stirring. And add your 1/2 teaspoon salt and 1/4 teaspoon of pepper now. You can also add, if you like, some minced garlic, like a clove of minced garlic. Not everyone likes garlic and stuffed peppers, so if you don't like it, don't use it. Okay, next, once you get that browned real nice, add your can of diced tomatoes. Stir that in and heat, probably 5 minutes. Then add your tomato soup, both cans of tomato soup, and then both cans of beef broth. And mix and stir that up. And you want to bring that to a boil and then let it simmer for about 30 minutes, okay? Once you've let that simmer for about 30 minutes and everything is, you should test a pepper and make sure that it's cooked but not mushy. You don't want it too mushy, but you don't want it to be crunchy. So it usually takes like 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Once you get it to that point, you can add your rice, stir it in well. What I did was I actually just cooked some brown rice while I was cooking this. I went ahead and cooked some brown rice, and then I just measured that and added. You don't have to use brown rice. You can use regular white long grain rice. I wouldn't use minute rice in this just because minute rice will break down a lot easier. So just use traditional rice and cook it, and it's fine. But add your 2 cups of rice, stir that in, and then let it simmer for about 15 minutes and let the rice kind of absorb some juice and stuff. If it gets too thick, you can add some water to it, but it usually doesn't. And there you go. There's your stuffed pepper soup. This is really...
Unstuffed pepper soup.
Oh, I'm sorry. Unstuffed pepper soup. This is good with a nice loaf of bread and butter, and soup. Great meal. And it's just a really great, tasty meal. So my husband ate the last of the leftovers tonight for supper, which means I won't have it to take in my lunch to work. So I guess I have to make more. But it's really good. I think you'll enjoy it. We love it. I mean, we just always laugh about it because Grandma Zella made this all the time, okay? All the time. Everybody loved it. So then one time she made it, and for some unknown reason, put a whole lot of mushrooms in it. And everybody's like, what's with the mushrooms? Why are there mushrooms? Mushrooms don't go in stuffed peppers. And she said, oh, I had these mushrooms. And then she started putting mushrooms in it all the time. So my kids were like, check the soup. See if she put the mushrooms in. So please don't add mushrooms to this. They don't belong. But we always get a laugh out of that. We get a laugh out of that. And this is it's such a good soup. I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
And make sure to check us out online on Facebook and Instagram at Mary Mac Bakehouse, on Twitter at Mobile Mary Mac and Mary Mac Podcast, and on our website, marymacpodcast.com.
Thanks a lot for listening if you did, and if you didn't, too bad for you.